page 6. Enmei juku kanangyo kanzeyan namu butsuyo butsuen yo butsuen bopo soen jo raku gajo chonen kanzeyan bonen kanzeyan nen Jushinki nen furishin kanzeyan namu butsuyo butsuen yo butsuen popo soen jo raku gajo chonen kanzeyan nen kanzeyan nen Jushinki nen furishin kanzeyan namu butsuyo butsuen yo butsuen popo soen jo raku gajo chonen kanzeyan nen kanzeyan nen Jushinki nen furishin conjuring world sounds awakens a Buddha right here, this Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices. In the light recall this, in the dark recall this, moment after moment the true heart arises. Time after time there is nothing but this absorbing world sounds awakens a Buddha right here, this Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices. In the light recall this, in the dark recall this, moment after moment the true heart arises. Time after time there is nothing but this absorbing world sounds awakens a Buddha right here, this Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. The pure heart always rejoices. In the light recall this, in the dark recall this, moment after moment the true heart arises. Time after time there is nothing but this. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing right here, now. Whenever these devoted invocations are sent forth, they are perceived and subtly answered. We dedicate their merits to all members of our human family throughout space and time. We especially dedicate their merits to those who suffer as a result of calamity, cruelty, and war. We especially dedicate these merits to Sarah Tenkei Kier at the time of her death, Sokai Judy Engelhoff, and those whose names we hold in the silence of our hearts, as well as those whose names we now voice aloud. May we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Buddhist Temple of Toledo. If you're a visitor this evening or would like beginning instructions, please pick up the cushion at your feet and follow Reverend Shokai, who will lead you down to the ancestor room for beginning instruction. Everyone else, please prepare for zazen. We will now recite the Psalm of the Covenant found on page 8. We, the diocese of each side, with respect to the word and dignity of each person, with wonder, wisdom, and compassion seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts, doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others. Please be seated for this evening's day show. Please sit comfortably and face towards our teacher. We will begin also on page 8 with the Gautama Sutra. On opening the sutra.
So, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Kind of a neat mistake happened today. It's lovely. It's so interesting. You know, these mics, the idea is the mic goes here. But it's possible, of course, to put it so that the mic is back here. It's physically possible. And wow, what a great example of tonight's talk. It's perfect. Oh, man. So I hope you're all doing all right and doing well. I want to say before I get into the talk too much that a number of people are not doing so well right now. I don't know if that might be you, might be me, might be those we know. What a wonderful time to celebrate our country, hurrah. And a lot of irony and a lot of things going sideways, a lot of challenge. And honestly, not just here at all. If you keep in touch with world news, it's not the case that everywhere else is simply fields of paradise and we alone deal with oddness. It's everywhere. And interestingly, when we look at the Buddha Dharma, we see that even in the Buddha's day, some 2,600 years ago, shit was hitting the fan still, way back then. A little different fan, of course, basically the same shit. So what about it? Blue Cliff Record, the Heikigan Roku, case 57, non-discrimination. A monk asked Master Joshu, if the Supreme Way has no difficulty, it just rejects discrimination, then what is non-discrimination? Master Joshu said, in the heavens and on the earth, only I alone am noble. The monk said, hey, that's still discrimination. Master Joshu said, oaf, where's the discrimination? The monk could say nothing. Now this is reference to an earlier teaching, which I'm very fond of. There was a certain time when the waters of the teachings of the Buddha were sloshing against the waters of Taoism, and they made this delicious brine, which was something different. And a lot of the early Chan teachers, a lot of the early Chinese teachers of the Buddha Dharma, once it had been in China for a generation or two, gave such delightful expression to the mind of awakening. Now, one of these that's being referenced here is very famous. Pastor Sung San, he said this, it's faith in mind. Famous to some in a very small circle, I suppose. Line says this, the Supreme Way is not difficult. It just precludes picking and choosing. Right? If the Supreme Way is not difficult, and it just precludes picking and choosing, then what is precluding picking and choosing? That's what the question is. Okay? Little different translation, but it's the same thing. If the Supreme Way has no difficulty, Cleary's translation has it, it just rejects discrimination, then what is non-discrimination? Same thing. The Supreme Way, the Great Way, the Awakened Way is not difficult. It just precludes, it just lets go of picking and choosing. So what the hell is this letting go of picking and choosing? What is that? And the text itself goes on quite lovely. It says, without yearning or loathing, the Great Way is perfectly apparent, while even a hair's breadth difference separates heaven from earth. To see the Great Way with your own eyes, quit agreeing and disagreeing. The battling of likes and dislikes, this is the disease of the mind. It's strong medicine. So the questioner is saying, what is this? What does it mean to let go of likes and dislikes? What is the freedom of this? What is it like when you're free of this disease of the mind? What is that? If the Great Way is not difficult, but precludes picking and choosing, what is this letting go of picking and choosing? Now, in response, old Master Joshu says this, in the heavens and on the earth, only I alone am the noble one. Okay, so heaven is up here. This is 10. And chi, the earth, is down here. The heaven's up there. Earth's down there. Heaven, earth. So in the heavens and on the earth, only I alone am the world-honored one. Now that can sound pretty arrogant, but dude, come on. And not only, okay, you alone are the noble one, but between heaven and earth, I thought we were just trying to not pick and choose, right? We're trying to not discriminate. What's the freedom from discrimination? Well, between heaven and earth, I It seems like, how can that possibly be in response? Of course, you may know he's quoting one of the things that it is said that the Buddha said when he came to awakening. You know, one of the things that is said that the Buddha said when he came to a complete awakening upon seeing the North Star is, I alone under heaven and earth am the truly noble one, the world honored one, which is an honorific title for fully awakened Buddha. So Master Joshu quotes this moment of awakening. Say, that's not insignificant. When the Buddha, who's just a person, like we're people, he was a people, we're all just people. He wasn't some other order of being or anything like this, just a Homo sapien with a fan and shit. And yet he saw something, he realized something. This person, not very unlike you and I, somehow saw something deeply profound that was inherent. It's important to keep in mind that when the Buddha came to awaken, and he didn't like add a new app to his phone and suddenly he was cool. He didn't level up in the game and suddenly had superpowers that were not accessible to lesser characters. This isn't what it is. He realized what was inherently there since before the beginning. It was true for him, and it's true for you, true for me, true for all of us. And in voice to this, in giving word and expression to this, he said, in the heavens and on the earth, only I alone am the world-honored one. Pretty heavy reference. And of course, the monk says, but that's just still discrimination. I mean, heaven, earth, I alone, noble, not noble, come on. Now, why is this monk having such trouble? I mean, he is having trouble because he's got a fixed idea about what non-discrimination must be. See, he knows what non-discrimination must be, or he has some image of what he thinks it's supposed to be. It's got to be some formless realm where there's no anything and it's just a black pit of nothingness or something, right? There's no differentiation. And this is a place that Zen students can get stuck in, and it's not acceptable. The goal here is not to learn how to meditate yourself into a dark space and just evaporate from your life. Not nearly good enough. First of all, completely unhelpful to you. If you even manage to pull such a thing off, it does you no good. Because when you're in that formless space, there's no cultivation of wisdom, there's no cultivation of compassion. It's just you doing a sophisticated dodge. It's really no different from just drinking a fifth or getting absorbed in a novel. A little more esoteric looking, but. Not acceptable. In contrast, imagine if the Buddha said something like, he sees the North Star, comes to awakening, and says some gobbledygook like, I who am no eye sees that which is not to be seen, which is beyond all and yet is all, and just keeps rattling on with this kind of gobbledygook. It's not what he said. And even if he didn't say it, it doesn't matter. The truth that it's pointing to is real. If the supreme way is not difficult, it just avoids picking and choosing. What is this avoiding of picking and choosing? In the heavens and on the earth, I alone am the noble one. That's still just discrimination. It's almost like he had that loaded, and no matter what Master Joshi would have said or done or pointed to or not pointed to, he could just say like that. Like a kid can just say, but why? Why? Because it's time. Why? because it is. Why? But that's just discrimination, you know. He had it loaded, I think. And of course, Master Joshu then says, oaf, oaf, fool, foolish took. Where is the discrimination? See, even with the slight, he's still trying to guide the monk. Where's the discrimination in that? I mean, really, there's all these interesting similes and metaphors and analogies. But the monk said nothing, didn't know how to respond. It's an example for all of us to be very careful about the conclusions we come to, not from our practice, but from our speculation. We have to be very careful about the ideas that we don't even know we harbor about what this is all about and who we are. In fact, culture, teachers, parents, priests, political figures, I suppose, if you listen to them, they'll all give you answers to who you are and what it means to be you and how you're supposed to be in the world. And out of all of this and the random experiences that we all have, we amalgamate some kind of usually unconscious sense. But when we come into the practice of the Buddha Dharma, we're required to actually leave all of that at the door and instead trust your critical experience, your critical thinking. Keep your eyes open. Now listen to yourself. Pay attention to what you're actually feeling. Actually trust yourself and let go of the conditioning. Even people who loved you, who are trying to do you right, unless they're awakened folks, and even if they are, still, you have to do it for yourself. Oaf, where is this discrimination? There actually isn't any in this statement. Now, to help us a little bit, I was rummaging around trying to find some things that I thought might be useful. And there's this wonderful simile of the saw. I don't know, have you heard it? The simile of the saw? Let's see. Kakupama Sutta, the simile of the saw. A little bit of a setup. So, bhikkhus, there are these 5 courses of speech. The Buddha is talking now about encountering speech that others may use when they address you. Their speech may be timely or untimely, true or untrue, gentle or harsh, connected with good or connected with harm, spoken with a mind of loving kindness or spoken with a mind of inner hatred. When others address you, their speech may be timely or untimely. When others address you, their speech may be true or untrue. When others address you, their speech may be gentle or harsh. When others address you, their speech may be connected with good or with harm. When others address you, their speech may be spoken with a mind of loving kindness or a mind with inner hate. Where's the non-discrimination? Where's the letting go of picking and choosing? Isn't this getting caught in duality? Shouldn't we be beyond? Actually, if you look at the Buddhist teachings, it's filled with things like this. And they matter. And they don't in any way, not for an instant, conflict with the teachings of the great masters. Obviously not. The Buddha goes on, he says, "Herein, bhikkhus, you should train thus. Our minds will remain unaffected. Our minds will remain unaffected. And we shall utter no evil words. We shall abide compassionate for their welfare, with a mind of loving kindness and without inner hatred. We shall abide pervading that person with a mind imbued with loving kindness. And staring at them, we shall abide pervading the all-encompassing world with a mind similar to a well-oiled bag, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, and without hostility, without ill will." That is how you should train. So here comes the saw. Brace. Right? Bhikkhus, even if bandits were to sever you savagely, limb by limb, with a two-handed saw, he who gave rise to a mind of hatred towards them would not be carrying out my teachings. O practitioners of the awakened way, even if the bad guys were to sever you savagely, limb from limb, with a two-handed saw, if any of you gave rise to a mind of hatred towards them, you would not be practicing the Buddha Dharma. Pretty extreme example. Herein, O practitioners, you should train thus. Our minds will remain unaffected. We shall utter no evil words. We shall abide compassionate for their welfare, with a mind of loving kindness, without inner hatred. We shall abide pervading them with a mind imbued with loving kindness. And starting with them, we shall abide pervading the all-encompassing world with a mind imbued with loving kindness, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. Anybody got any saws hacking at them lately? Maybe you got two, maybe three. Maybe it's something like, "Oh shit, what do I do now?" That's a good saw. "I can't believe they did that to me." That's a good saw. "This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful wife." Ba-ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. What is going on here? That's a good saw. It's not just for bandits there, folks. What does it mean to avoid picking and choosing? Let's switch. There's another time when the Buddha is counseling his monastics. I'll paraphrase. "Oh, monks, what do you think? When you go out for the alms round and you find a certain house where the food is amazing. They have the best rice. They have the most wonderful sauce. Oh my God, the chicken, you should totally try." Right? What do you think, holy ones? When you go on your begging rounds and you find this house with the awesome entrees and hors d'oeuvres, and you go and they lavish it upon you, what should you do? You who have given up the worldly life, who are bidden to go out daily and ask for food and receive what's given. What do you do when it's a gourmet 10-course that you actually like? We should leave because it's too much? Oh, never turn down a 10-course, friend. We we should tell them no thank you and ask for something more simple? No, you insult the house. Why would you do that? We eat it? Very good. Because eat it. It's good. Enjoy. But then, oh noble monks, what next? What do you think? If the next day you say, that was mighty fine back in that house, I think I'm going to go back there. Yeah, let's go back. And you make a plan, and you go back to that same house, and you... Is that okay? What if they open the door, and today it's just bread? Then what, monk? How would you feel? Let down? Practice non-clinging. If you are so lucky as to have a wonderful experience, please enjoy. Please dedicate that enjoyment to those fellow creatures of ours who are not in such a fortunate position, and don't cling. Let it go. I could imagine a monastic who struck upon that one amazing meal, that one time, carrying that meal for years, dreaming about it. Of course, with every passing season, it gets tastier and tastier in the mind, and it becomes quite a problem. It's not just being sawed in half, it's also feeling real nice. See? It's the same exact counsel. Upon receiving the most wonderful gift, a beautiful eyes to see a lovely sunset and ears to hear the birds chirp and to be well enough to breathe in a breath of your own. Our minds will remain unaffected, and we shall utter no words of adoration and praise. We shall abide compassionate with a mind of loving kindness. And if it's more like a saw, maybe some arthritis starting to show up in your world, or a relationship collapsing and there's nothing you can do about it, or whatever. Same. Our minds remain unaffected. It doesn't mean not to taste the food. It doesn't mean to try to anesthetize yourself and not feel in contact with your life. Quite the opposite. When it hurts, and when it's funny, and not picking and choosing. It's a simple thing. You get punched in the gut, your body will wince this way, and you will lose breath. It's what happens. And you're really hot, and it's too stuffy, and suddenly a cool breeze comes. And it's fine. This is not a problem. It's how you relate to it. So just consider the delicacies and delights that you cling to and wish to recapitulate, but a little better next time. Thanks. Yeah, that was a great gig, but the next gig, that's going to be even. And then when it's not, right? And then think about maybe the saws that actually bite, the intractable ones. I mean, the easy things to pick on are aging, sickness, but there are others. Honest acceptance of the self, complete meeting what's rising. This is the fearless heart of the Bodhisattva. And then for the sake of all beings, for the alleviation of suffering for yourself and for all beings in any state, in any world, in any form, practice well. Practice this mind of compassion and loving kindness with yourself. It's tough. Things go sideways and it hurts. Like for real, not a game. Even if you do everything right and everything works out fine, still, when you look in the mirror deeply, what is happening? So don't be surprised and don't be scared. It's not like you did something wrong and now it's all heaped upon you because you were the dumbass. You're just alive. Just join the club. No kidding. The question is, how do you use it for awakening? Using all the ingredients of your life, all of them. Every single experience can be used for awakening. All of them. And that's what we practice. It's not about escaping. It's not about bending the universe to your will and making it conform to your wish. It's far more miraculous than that. A monk asked Master Joshu, if the supreme way is not difficult, it just avoids picking and choosing, what is this avoiding picking and choosing? Tell me, what the hell is it? It seems like no matter what I do, I'm always picking and choosing. What is it to be free of that? Master Joshu says, plain as day. In the heavens and on the earth, only I alone am noble, the world-honored one. The monk said, come on, that's still discrimination. Joshu said, you oaf. Where is this discrimination? At this, the monk said nothing.
Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions Thank you, everyone. That concludes our service for this evening. Announcements, please.
So we have a lot going on this month. The teaching retreat starts Tuesday the 19th through Saturday the 23rd. Members should have received communications about that. And if you would, there's a registration form out there, if you would fill that out, because food will be provided for lunch. So we need numbers for that. Arts Night is back. Kokio's enthusiastic. Saturday the 23rd. Whatever artistic expression within reason you come up with is welcome. Jukai Shishin, registration is open. That runs August 9th, which is Tuesday, through Sunday the 14th, culminating in the Jukai ceremony. And of course, Secho's ordination, the last Sunday of the month. So yeah, hope to see you all there.
Anything else?
I would like to see the liturgy team briefly after service.
Thank you all. Restore the Zendo, please.